Hey, it's Dean. I'm so glad you're here. We'll get to Jenna Kutcher here in a moment, but this may be the most important video I've ever filmed because I want to be really transparent. I think we messed up a little bit the other night on the live cast. Now, let me tell you the good thing. It was one of the largest, if not the largest, online training in the history of the world. We had over 100,000 comments. We appreciate all the incredible feedback. We had so many people become a part of this movement, but simultaneously, I'm going to be real honest, we were live. And sometimes when you're live, like you don't have rehearsal, and Tony and I were so in the moment and wanted to share so many things in a short period of time, I think we may have created some confusion. What do you think?
I mean, it's crazy. I was telling my team today, I'm like, the energy is palpable, but I think I blacked out when we were on the live. And so today I'm so excited because we get to show up and just simplify everything. And isn't that what we're all kind of looking for? Simplification?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I asked Jenna to be here with me, because you are the simplification queen. Is that a word?
Yes, we're making it.
Yeah, we're making it a word. Especially, I watched you do so many things with a baby on your side and all those great things. But here's what this video is. If I pull back the curtain, we call this the FAQ clarity video. We have your frequently asked questions laid out that we're going to answer. And these are thousands of questions my team pulled together and picked the top 10 so we can answer that burning thing that may have held you back from being a part of this. Also, I'm going to take a few minutes on the whiteboard here and give you the clarity of what does it mean to be in the knowledge industry? Why now? And why you need to be a part of this. And I think in less than 30 minutes, we can give you complete clarity, answer the FAQs, and let you see for yourself that there's another level. I'm guessing if you're watching us right now, you know there's more. You maybe were on the other night watching Tony and I and Jenna and then Russell and said, you know, I want to do something different. I want to do something more meaningful in my life. I want to do something that I wake up and feel like I'm doing something on purpose in an industry that's growing exponentially faster than most any other industry in the world. But something may have held you back, and I feel like it could have been our fault. And I'm sorry, we were live. Even the experts mess up sometime. But right now, this was well thought out. And I think, again, in less than 30 minutes, we can get you clarity. So, you ready? I'm going to go through this.
I'm ready. Let's go.
If I get confusing in any way, you have permission to stop me and share. So, let's talk about the knowledge industry, which could be the self-education industry. It could be upskilling. It could be specialized knowledge. We know, and we showed you some great stats the other night, that people are deciding not to go back to school to get general knowledge, right? You know this. People realize you can't learn through your own trial and error because the world is growing too fast. You get past too quick. So where are they turning to? They're turning to self-education, to learn from regular people who are doing it or have done it that are willing to share, right? Wherever you are, someone is starting off on day one, and you can allow them to go faster. So let's break that down. Okay, you say, I'd love to do something meaningful. I'd love to impact people, but maybe you're thinking, I'm not an expert, or I'm an introvert, or I don't have a following, or I'm not a teacher. That's why I want to bust those myths and give you a breakdown right now. So in the knowledge industry, you have the opportunity to share through three different ways. One is a skill that you have, an expertise, a hobby, a passion, something you've been doing for a while. Jenna, you were in photography, right? Isn't that, you started by teaching other women how to be in the photography business, right? Now, let me just ask you, because you're here, did you go, oh, I'm empowered, I could teach no problem, I don't need a following, I'm just gonna do it, or were you a little scared?
And I was not a trained photographer. I called myself a photographer, F-A-U-X.
Like as in, yeah, right.
And so it's crazy because when I think about that and I think about you, you're already making excuses as to why you don't have something to offer. And so let's lay that to bed and just pretend, maybe just pretend as we walk through this, that you have a really special gift. Because hopefully by the end of it, we will have convinced you of that.
Yeah, and this is just sitting here, Sandra Hazley. Sandra worked with her husband. He has a doctor's office, and she helped run the office. And she's like, I'm really good at helping my husband run this office. And listen, I'm not a woman, but I get to be dear friends with you, and I get to have a lot of great women in my life and my beautiful wife. And sometimes I know you're the power behind the man.
Yeah.
And she said, and maybe you could give me your perspective, like she knew that them together, even though she wanted to support her husband, she knew it was time for her to do something. They built an incredible doctor's office and she ran it, But she said, listen, I've been running this. We helped scale this company. I'm the woman behind the scenes. She was a little nervous. She had bought courses before. She didn't finish them. And then she said, the hell with it. She got enrolled in KBB, got the information. And, you know, we worked really hard to pull people all the way through the course. She finished it and decided to do an empowerment mastermind, teaching women how to be in business and how to scale like she did. She was a nervous wreck. She's like, who's going to show up? Who would do this with me? And the cool part, her goal was 30 people in her first mastermind. And this is her comment. She did 31 people in her first one, and she's already on her fourth mastermind. Now, when you say mastermind, that's another word people go, oh, what's a mastermind?
Yeah.
Well, how would you explain a mastermind simpler than I can?
Yeah. It's just a group of people coming together who are all willing to share and learn and grow. And usually you're just the facilitator.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you don't even have to be the expert. Most masterminds are collaborative power. And so what if you're just really good at getting the right people in the room? That's it.
And that's the point, is so many of us have unconscious competence, right? She has done so many great things, and I'm watching her inside the Facebook group just soar. Yeah. She's taken a leadership role in helping so many other women, especially in that group. But you have a unique power, and that might sound like a big word, but you've done something. You've been through a situation, and you come out strong on the other side. And when we say mastermind, really, let me simplify that. It means it's not writing a book, which books are great, but that's a long process. It's not building a course. It's not being a coach where you're in the time and effort community. What it means is that you have the ability to attract people. We call a mastermind a Zoom call. She did 2 of her trainings where there was a whole bunch of people on Zoom app where you can be live and interact and have different people talk, right? There's people doing Skype calls as they're training. There's people doing it in person in their living room, sitting around with 5 women and a coffee cup, right? So a mastermind, don't get intimidated by that word, when it simply means just people coming together with the purpose of going to another level. And if you have a skill, a hobby, an expertise that you have a few years in, you can help bring them and have them start off where you left off. Yeah. So that's the first part. When we say skill or expertise, I guarantee you have it. And if you're thinking, I don't have the confidence, well, that's why we work so hard to help you identify that superpower. Listen, when you understand that you could, I realized I used some words last night that were kind of techie, like niche within a niche within a niche. What the hell does that mean? I got to tell this story really quick, and I'll go faster here. But my wife, she's a great hairstylist, one of the best in Arizona, voted one of the best. You looked beautiful yesterday.
She did
She's
my
so
hair
good.
Yesterday.
When we first met and I told her about this, she's like, oh, I could never teach anybody. I'm really not that good. I'm like, babe, you're one of the best. She's like, yeah, but I just work hard. And she was like, and I don't know what I teach. And when she thought about teaching in the beauty industry, it seemed big. Mm-hmm. And then when she thought about teaching hair only, it got a little smaller, but she's like, there's a lot of people who do that. But I said, babe, your specialty is hair extensions. How would you think of teaching just hair extensions? Mm-hmm. She goes, oh, I could do that with my eyes closed. And I watched her confidence go up. I watched her, and she's like, do you think I could do it? And then I said, well, let's take it one more. Do you use any special kind of style? She's like, oh yeah, only one kind of hair, only one kind of method. Doesn't hurt, looks beautiful, makes women look gorgeous. I said, okay, so you're not in the beauty industry. It's not just the beauty industry. It's not just hair. It's not just extensions. It's the specific extensions. And I said, here's the cool part. Because of social media, we could find women and men who just want to learn that one thing. She's like, sign me up, let's do it. And she's actually doing her first training next weekend while she's this pregnant, right? I'm using her as an example because when you understand that it's really, we have the ability to niche until you go, oh, well, that thing I'm good at. So that's what, you're probably an expert and don't realize it. But then the second part is turning your mess into a message. On the live cast, I use an example of Christine, who she went through a divorce and it started getting really messy for her kids and her ex. She said enough. She found a way to resolve that and make it amicable and put her kids first. And they thrived so much. Now what does she do? Her mess is her message. Now she helps couples and says, don't do that anymore. And she's empowering them to put children first, changing lives. And she said, I knew I was born to be a coach my whole life. I just didn't think I had a skill until she got enrolled in KBB and we unlocked her personal superpower. Listen, I feel like when I say superpower, it even seems like such a big word. But you have one inside of you in most every circumstance I've ever seen when you go through the process to extract it. Then when you niche it down, you're like, oh, I could do that. And the world has gotten so small through social media that you don't have to cast a wide net. You just want to find people that need exactly what it is you have to offer. And the last one is the reporter. You know, I used the reference of Tony last night because his book, Money Master the Game, he just reported on some of the best people in the financial world, wrote a book, and it was one of a New York Times bestseller. But I watched so many people do this. The gentleman last night, Christopher, who I talked about on the live training, Christopher stands out because his mom had an autoimmune disease. He's not a doctor, he's a young kid, but he obsessed and he became the reporter. He digested every book, every audio, like interviewed people and found a way to get his mom where her autoimmune disease stopped progressing. He healed her. It was his absolute passion. He wasn't a doctor. He didn't have an autoimmune disease himself. He became the reporter of that knowledge and then decided to share it with the world. His first event, now he went all out. He went on social media. He even paid some Facebook ads. But he had 7,000 people show up to his first training being the reporter. The world is ready to learn from somebody who's had the experience. It's not about the doctors or initials after their name. Not that you guys shouldn't be in this. And you don't need 20 years experience. People are just hungry for knowledge. This is the information age. Knowledge is the new currency, and you know something other people don't, and they want it.
I want to break this down a little bit more.
Do it.
I think the term knowledge broker can sound like, okay, well, what does that mean? And it sounds super important. But when you really get to the heart of it, if you yourself are not the expert right now, what you can do is partner with someone who has the initials after their name, partner with someone who is the expert, execute this entire system for them and become partners. And I actually got like a multi-million dollar idea from this exact exercise because I realized like I have these desires to impact the world, but I don't have to be the one pushing it forward. I have so many experts in my life. I have access to so many amazing people. What would it look like if I got the right people in the room to facilitate? And so when you think about this system, and if you are dead set and convinced and like, I don't have a superpower, I don't have a gift, then what would it look like if you took someone in your life who you're thinking of right now, who you know is an expert, and you're like, hey, I'm going to facilitate this. All you have to do is show up and teach what you're so good at, and I will bet you along the way you will become the expert.
I mean, that's how it all starts, right?
Yes.
When you research knowledge or you partner with somebody, by the time you share it, you become the expert. And especially, this is the most important part. Listen, how great is it that we have the opportunity to be the researcher, the reporter, or partner with somebody, and then we get to gain that knowledge. And here's the part. Listen, if you're here, I'm betting you want another level of impact, another level of success. Like I said before, you'd be doing something different. But here's the benefit. You can pick the niche that most fills your soul up. And reverse engineer it, meaning I love helping women be more empowered. I love people going vegan. I love people to do better with hair. I love people to do better when they mountain climb or trim trees. I mean, this is probably hard to understand, but this is 4,700 different niches that my team taped together. It stretches all the way across 4,700 different niches. People have already identified that they found a way to share their knowledge in this little niche, but the world is so connected, there's still lots of people in each niche starting on day one, and you can allow them to go faster. So here's the cool part. So this, I'm not trying to make this oversimplified, but if you're ready for another level, there's no doubt you fit in one of these three.
Yes.
You're either the expert with a skill that you need to learn how to extract it, you had a mess that could be your message, or you could be the reporter or the broker of someone else's knowledge. And here's the cool part that wasn't available in the past, is you could do this online or in person. I would bet to say the majority of our people are using online because in moments from people all around the world, you could be on a Zoom call. And only because I've been doing this for 23 years, Jen, I want to tell you, just 5 to 10 years ago, people didn't really have that. They wanted to be in person. That transition has happened. Why I always say this is the perfect storm. Listen, self-education's been around forever, right? We didn't invent self-education. Tony's been doing it for 40-something years, me for 20-something years. But what happened now is the access is here. If there's an expert in Germany that you want to learn how to parasail on another level, and he's the best, you don't have to go to Germany now. You jump on a Skype or a Zoom call. So this word, literally what social media has done to find your ideal client, and what online has done to connect, That's why this is the industry now. This is why it's exploding. This is why Forbes says it's going to triple over the next few years. And then the last part, and we call this the KBB double triangle. If you're one of these, you have a skill or an expertise, and we help you unlock it. You have a mess that turned into a message where you can help people not go through it. If you think about this, if this is life and this is a mess that you went through and you're back up here and you're on your way up, how many people are in here right now? And if you have the ability to have them leapfrog this by sharing your experience, do you think people would be excited to pay you for speed? Of course, that's, I don't mean to oversimplify it, but that's the mess into message. If you're one of them, looking for impact and success, online or in person, give you the process to do that, and then you're going to do it in 3 ways. And we broke this down. Either you're going to build a community. Listen, they all fall under masterminds. Whether you're building an online community, whether you're building a mastermind that you're going to do on Zoom or in person, you have a group. Tony's got the platinum group, and I have multiple groups. Or you're going to build a workshop. We know so many incredible people doing weekend workshops. That's what my wife's doing next weekend. She's doing a workshop right in my office for hair and makeup.
How to do a blowout for us ladies.
Yeah, exactly. And she's loving it. And we're going to just keep doing it because she realizes, like, wow, I could help people go faster. When she starts realizing that she could save, and she's all for women power, so she's always like, if I could save women, stop wasting 5 or 10 years in this industry making 25 grand a year, and I can help them get to 50, 100 and more faster while they love it, I guess I'm obligated to do it. And when she said that, I'm like, that's the essence of this industry. So you have the chance to build a community, which you're just bringing like-minded people together. We show you how to do that. Mastermind groups and workshops, and this is how you make impact and success. And this is how you enter the knowledge industry, and this is why this has become a movement. So you want to get to some FAQs?
Yeah, I want to touch on that
let's
last
do it.
bit real quick. So when we think about impact and success, a lot of times we overcomplicate it. And there are so many different ways you can do any of those 3 buckets for free today.
Absolutely.
And what I think about is so cool these days is a lot of people have this hesitation and they're like, well, can't you just Google that? And I want to ask you, how many times have you searched for a solution and found yourself combing through 30 YouTube videos to find the answer to your question and still coming up without the right answer?
True story.
And so when I think about the amazing thing of the online world and the objection in our head of like someone's already doing it or it's already out there, people will pay for that speed.
Absolutely.
And that blueprint, which is exactly what this is. And so I always think about, like, when I look at community, masterminding groups, workshops, it sounds so complex, but really it's just a system and however you're choosing to deliver it. And there's so many ways you can do that.
You're so good, because I could just say, this is how you deliver it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, think about this, and I won't take too long on this, but in the knowledge industry, you could go write a book. Right? It might take you a year and then you hope to sell it, right?
Yeah.
The average person, we just found out yesterday, sells 250 books and makes $500. Right? Books aren't what they used to be.
Yeah.
You could build a coaching course, but if you're a coach, you're still in the time and effort community. You get an hour, you get paid for an hour, right? Love coaches, they've changed my life, but still not the fastest way to impact. You could also build a course. Again, the depth of building it, customer service, all those pieces. What this has allowed, and social media, is why these are what Tony and I and Jenna, and why we're such an advocate of this, because it's speed of implementation, speed of simplicity, speed of impact, speed of success. Because Jenna could write a book on how to be a great photographer, or she could send out an email and do some social posts and say, next weekend, I'm doing a Zoom call on the 5 tips to being the best wedding photographer in 2020. She could do that next week and have hundreds of girls on a Zoom call. Now, she already has a following, but if she didn't, it's the same process. We have so many people. I mean, we had 1,100 people just recently send in how they're starting and building this because there's so many people in need of this education.
Yeah. I want to add one final thing, because I am always thinking in terms of objections, and I'm just going to speak to them because these are some of the questions. Is that a lot of people are intimidated by numbers. So they're like, okay, what would I do with 10 people? Or what would I do with 5 people? And the truth of the matter is, and what I saw most of my students successfully do, is that they started with one-on-one to test out their system and to do that, trading time for money, to gain the confidence to say, wait, I just coached 5 people and I did the same process 5 times and they all got that result. So that's the process. Then they
Really good
started a
feedback.
Facebook group, and they did a Facebook Live, and they taught 10 people. And guess what? The 10 people got success. Then they started feeling comfortable, and they did group coaching. And it's like, there's so many
Natural
different
progression.
levels of this where you just got to start small, start where your passion and where you can make progress and where you gain that confidence up. And so it's so cool because you could do all three of those things in the same way and get the same results, but with different ways of delivery and with different amounts of people.
Well, I'm so glad you say that. I love having you here because I think about this stuff so much and it's my life. Sometimes
Yes.
I approach it at a high level and I forget
Yeah.
to drill down. Listen, I have a mastermind, or had a mastermind, because I wanted to help impact people that couldn't afford a lot.
Yeah.
But I had a mastermind at $7 a month.
Yep.
And all we did is drive them to a Facebook private group
Yep.
where I taught them once a month, and each week there was videos of mine, and once a month they get taught. We had thousands and thousands and thousands of people in that, right? $7 a month, no technology. I just went to Facebook, started a group,
Yep.
and we used the same process that you have access to put people in it, right? But I've also had masterminds that were $25,000 and more. Tony and I are doing one that's off the charts. So it can, and I do some masterminds live in the other room.
Yeah.
I do a monthly mastermind or a monthly training called My Inner Circle that I do on Zoom, right? So good call.
Thank
Good
you.
call on that. All right, let's get to some FAQs.
Let's do it. Okay, so we are so excited because I am the objections girl. So consider me the voice of reason and the person in your head thinking the thoughts that you might be thinking, because
I love that.
I am the skeptic myself, right? So you're hearing from a skeptic. So I first just want to ask you, because Tony has said this too, what happens when the recession comes? I'm young.
Okay.
I've never necessarily lived
Been through one.
these things. And I know that a lot of people that have, they're
was
like,
a big question
oh,
last night.
waiting for it. So
Yeah.
talk to me.
So I've been through two, so
Yeah.
that shows my age. Yeah, I've been through two. And here's what I know. There's certain things that are future-proof,
Yep.
recession-proof, and there's certain things that aren't,
Yep.
right? The real estate industry, I watch the real estate industry when it tanks, if you're not prepared, that's where people lose fortunes and foreclosures happen and pain. And I promise you it's coming. Like, I'm not predicting negativity. If you just look over the last 100 years, there's winter and summer and winter and summer, and it's gonna come. The one thing, and I can only go by what I've Googled and watching my business and watching Tony's business, when the economy shifts, it's when people crave information because they want an unfair advantage. I watched Tony's business when the economy turned last time. His date with destiny and his business mastery. Business mastery was just boom. It was 1,000 people, 2, 3. It just grew. Yep. I watched in the 2007 recession when it was really bad. My business significantly grew because people were craving unfair advantages. So if you think about it, when the economy is going good, people are just buying whatever they want to buy. Right? Businesses, let's get that. Let's build a new office. Let's build a kitchen. All of a sudden, the economy goes, oh, let's spend our money on knowledge. Let's spend our money on information so we can have a competitive edge. So again, I am not promising you this. I'm just telling you, in my opinion, this is a future-proof industry, an industry that's growing, and I believe this will be an industry that thrives and grows during a down market.
I agree too, because when I think about the recession or things like that, which can come or will come,
Yeah.
I think that people will start to value their time deeper because all of a sudden they're working harder, they're getting nervous about things like that. And so time will become the currency along with knowledge. And the best way to save yourself time is to learn things quicker.
Absolutely.
Okay, hit me with one.
All right.
Take
Pick
your
anyone you
pick.
want.
Okay, I'm gonna do, Billy. Billy asked, I'm a complete introvert and I lack confidence. Can this still work? And I get this question all the time. And maybe people don't know this, but I'm actually incredibly introverted. And I love to work from home by myself. And so one of the misconceptions about being a leader is that you have to be this exuberant, out there person. And when we talk about niches or however you want to say that, a lot of times we connect with people that are like us. Yeah. And so that is where the real impact comes.
Oh my God, what a great answer.
It's not this like persona. Like, you don't need to develop a Tony Robbins persona to make an impact.
God, what great clarity.
Yeah, and I love it because for example, when I was teaching my students last year through the course, my life was crazy. So I had a brand new baby. And I remember being like, guys, I don't know when I'm going to go live because we're kind of on a nap schedule and I'm trying to feed and all these things. And I think that actually taught my students more about how this can work into your life.
I watched you, because I watched you do it while your makeup was getting put on, while you were putting your own makeup on, while you were breastfeeding, while you were in a closet hiding from everybody, right? So, but you just said something I've never thought of. No one would. I'm a massive introvert. Like when I have to go to a school function with my kids and there's other parents, I hide or I go play with the kids. I've always been the dad. They're like, "Oh, he's such a good dad." It's like, no, I'm afraid to talk to everybody else. But I just thought about it. In my masterminds, I come alive, and it's because when you do this right, when you identify what. I'm using the word superpower. When you identify the skill, the expertise, the mess you went through, you're going to attract, when you put that out there as you, and this is one of the things we teach, the world is ready for authenticity. You don't have to be Tony Robbins or Dean or Jenna. You have to be just you, the most real version of you, because what you'll do is we teach the mirror image. You're attracting the same personality who needs what you've already experienced. So when you get in a room or you get on a Zoom call, you fall in love with these people in 2 minutes. And you just, I've never thought about it that way.
And I think one, introverts then show other introverts that they can make an impact, and that ripple effect that we've talked about actually comes to life. And so just own who you are, because that is what actual impact looks like, which is so cool.
All right, let's pick another one.
Okay. How do I get over the fear and finally start? Let's talk about starting.
Yes.
How many of you are waiting to start?
I mean, think about, so I have my opinion, I want you to hear yours. My sister and I could not be any more different. So me, I am a quick start. I am I make emotional, fast decisions. So the simplest way to compare me and my sister is if I was gonna buy a car, I would see it at a dealership, I'd walk in, I'd be like, I like it, can I take it, can I leave within a half hour, let's get this done. My sister would go to 3 dealerships, drive 5 cars, and go online and look at consumer affairs, and then she'd look at her bank book and she'd process, and she'd do all those things. Neither one of us is better, but I also know with my sister, again, I've moved too fast and I should have slowed down, but with my sister, sometimes she'll overanalyze something so much, and then she regrets for years that she didn't jump in. Right? So one thought is sometimes when someone's waiting to start, your subconscious is saying, we should learn more. Maybe it's not enough time. Wait till a different president. Wait till a different economy. Maybe my husband should have my back. Maybe I should do this. And all of a sudden your subconscious is going, oh, let's just wait. And I just know, and maybe I could ask you this, how fast is the last year gone by? The last 5? What about those missed opportunities? They suck. I know being left behind is terrible. But what I'd say is use some logical thinking, right? To make a decision. Is it a logical time to jump in the knowledge industry? Is it logical that you've tried things in the past and when you put your heart into it, you made it happen? Is it logical that it makes sense to learn from someone who's already been there? Logical to see regular people, not just making a difference. And I would just start thinking of the logical decisions if that's what you need, so you don't miss out.
One of the things that I learned, especially over the last year, is that our failure to start is a lot of times due to confidence. And so how can we get small wins that build us up so that we believe it's possible? So maybe you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, good for you guys, but this isn't for me. And what I think and what I've taught is that really starting is figuring out where your passion and where progress meet. So how can we find almost, and I say this with like a little cringe, but how can we find the lowest hanging fruit where you can prove that this concept works and say to yourself, oh my gosh, somebody just paid me $20 to teach them how to go gluten-free, or somebody just paid me $15 to help them learn how to organize their closet. And a lot of times we have such grand ideas. They're so big we want to change the world, which is the most beautiful thing ever. But we never start because they're so overwhelming. And so I want for you to think about a very simple skill or a superpower that you possess, and something that you're still passionate about, but it might not be your greatest vision, and something that you can actually make progress on. And if you can prove that proof of concept that someone is willing to pay you to learn just this one thing, like I dare you, go on Facebook and say, hey, pay me $10 to learn X, and see if anyone responds.
Yeah, exactly.
It would just prove to you that you can finally start. And then you can take over the world, but starting is the hardest part.
And of course, it absolutely is. And that's why we work so hard in the course to pull people in. That's why we laid it out with mindset first, right? The whole first section is to get you in a mindset that becomes, I'm breaking through, I'm starting, I'm not missing out. Because hesitation is the worst, because then it becomes a habit, right? Yes. And I love the point of saying, go do something. Yeah. Because I'll tell you, and then we'll get to the next question, one of the most addicting things about being in this industry is watching something you learned or something you said, an experience you went through, impact somebody like that.
Yes.
Right? Somebody says, I want to learn to go vegan, and you help them do that, and you watch them get cleaner and healthier and feel better. When you start seeing that proof of concept, and the last thing I'll say is, fear will never go away. Results are not the lack of fear, it's having the courage to do it anyway. So I would say, don't look for the confidence muscle first. Empower your courage muscle, do it 1 or 2 times, and then that becomes confidence.
I just thought of one of the number 1 objections.
Okay.
That I think people might be thinking. Can we talk about it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. One of the things that I got asked a lot is, what if I'm not helping people make more money? Because it's really easy to sell knowledge when the promises make more money. And I saw a question where it says, I'm not sure I have knowledge that I can actually charge for. And so what would you say to that? Because I know what I'd say, but like, what would you say if you're like, well, it's easy to sell something that's going to promise more money, but what if my skill doesn't do that?
Okay, so I want to tell you, and I'll share something personal. I went through a divorce 4 years ago, 4 years ago, started 4 years ago, and I was scared to death. And I was scared because my ex and I knew it was over, and we had already started to become friends, and we were living separately. I was so worried about my kids. I'm a product of divorce, and it wasn't a pretty one. My parents still don't talk to each other 50 years later, 48 years later. I was so nervous, and I went out and hired someone who's not a professional therapist, but she works with just love and how to build relationships. And I hired her to help me find another level of love and empathy and replace all my feelings with compassion, right? You go through a divorce, it's like, I can't believe you did this, you want this, the kids did this. And she helped me through the whole thing. It had nothing to do with making money. And then I found another a guy that him and his wife were so good with kids. I said, I convinced them to do a training to show me how they got through this and how they blended their families and their kids are on fire. Like, I was going through a mess that I had never been through, and I just found people that already went through it. And I don't mean to share my own story, but I wanted to be vulnerable there, that I pay for so many things now. That's where our world is going, because where do people go if they want to get through a problem? Where do people go if they want to get their closets organized, or have someone teach them how to, get their babies sleeping better? Like, all these things exist, and the world has come to the fact of, I don't want to go back to school to learn this, that would be dumb. I don't want to learn through my trial and error. Okay, who's willing to take a check to allow me to go faster? And it's just a shift, it's just a paradigm shift, and this is truly where we're going. Like, last thing I'll say about this, I believe within 5 years, if we're sitting here talking and we're deciding we're going to do a partnership, I think people will say, not where'd you go to school, what was your degree? They're going to say, so where'd you get your specialized knowledge? I believe that. And that's where we're going. And I said, it's like this wave. You either want to be in front of the wave where the momentum pushes you to shore, or you're that person paddling trying to catch it too late.
I think that I look at it in 3 buckets when it comes to impact. So you can make people money, which is wonderful. You can save them time, or you can simply add joy to their life. And I feel like nowadays, like, we need more joy. Like, so when I think about
3
what
buckets.
my students
I am
do,
so
are you taking notes?
I am stealing that. 3 buckets. I'm going to add one more bucket. Is take away people's complexity.
Yes, so simplify.
Simplify,
yes. Because when I looked at my students, I'm like, the 3 main things that they were doing is making them money, saving them time, or adding joy. One of my students was a macrame artist, and she was so incredible. Do you know what macrame is?
Yeah, I think I do. It's
like
the
all
long
the
needles?
Strings. No, it's like you tie all this rope together in really cool things. It's beautiful. But I'm like, she's adding joy. Like, she's getting people to work with their hands again and to create something like in the flesh. She's bringing together a community. And so if you are sitting here and you're like, well, it's really easy to sell something where it makes someone money, What if you could simply save them time or bring them joy? Think about those three things because those are the three things we spend money on and invest in as human beings.
I didn't mean to jump in. I get all excited because we have 4,700 different niches, and you would not believe. But I told my team, write down 10, right? I'm just going to, no, so think about this. I don't think any of them have, a couple of them might be money, but it's baby boomer physical fitness. Right? Badminton coaching.
Love it.
Okay, badminton coaching. That's joy. That falls under, I'm going to start labeling these. Chalkboard and mural art.
Beautiful.
Right? Helping divorced men. Mushroom farm design and construction. Roofing. Life coaching. Sustainable construction. Wine education. Interior architect and interior design. Digital marketing. Baby photography. Motorsports. Business. I mean, one of those, real estate investing, was talking about money. And if you start looking and you go, oh, wait a minute. I raced motocross for 5 years. I'm really good with that. I bet you there's some people starting on day one on motocross. I could help them a lot. And that's what, if we get you in that frame of mind, I'm so glad you're with us here, if you're still joining us. If we get you in that frame of mind where you go, wow, I have knowledge other people could really use. And the byproduct is that you get paid to share it. That's where the world is going, and that's why we're here answering these questions, because what I don't want when this offer closes in less than a week, when you're watching this and it's gone, that you finally realize, okay, I got all my questions answered, I should do it, and then this offer is not available anymore. What I'm hoping, and what I'm so happy you're here with me, is I want to answer those questions. I'm thinking through the eyes of my sister. My sister would have all these questions, and if I answered them, she'd go, okay, I'm in. So this is our job right now, is to answer your questions, overcome those fears, and get you in.
Okay, another question. Would you be able to help me stay on track and not give up on this? Ooh, how many people have made a promise and fallen through on it?
I'm going to share, this is more tactical because I've been doing courses and trainings for over 20 years. I'm looking at it because we got a stack of diplomas over there. The graduation rate on this course is unlike anything I've ever seen because we designed it that way. Two really important things. Each module, each section, is designed to pull you through with little gifts and little, like, we call them Easter eggs. Finish this section, take this little quiz. If you get a 70%, we're going to give you this. And we just pull people through the course, and the byproduct is they get done. And then when you're done and you know you went through it twice, the information, it's almost impossible not to want to go out and do it because you started off the course courageous to do it. But by the time you're done, you have the confidence, the tactics, the mindset, and the implementation tool. Plus, Jenna did this magically last year, and this year we're doing it too. We're walking people through for 6 weeks to make sure we really hold their hand.
I've taken a lot of courses, and the reason why I joined was to reverse engineer how the heck they built this thing. But I have never seen a program that makes you want to finish.
That was the goal. I'm glad.
It's amazing, and it's fun, and it's interactive, and it's inspiring, and it's like, oh my gosh, you logging back in, congratulations, here's this. And the other thing that I think you left out that I think is a huge perk for people is that you can consume this content in the best way that you love to consume. So
I never brought that
whether
up.
you watch the video or you download the MP3s or you simply read the transcripts and highlight your bits and pieces, for me, I listened on the go all the time. I mean, I didn't even really sit and watch the videos because my lifestyle required me to have my hands free.
That's another one. You are.
In my ears. This is why I'm
and that was my idea.
Queen.
And that was my idea to put all three in, and I still haven't told people. You know, when you're so close to something, it's hard.
Can I tell you, I am Dean's hype girl, like, because he's forgotten how magical this is because he's so invested in it. And I'm like, dang, this is so good. I can't stop talking about it. So don't forget that people can consume this. So if you've fallen off before, maybe it's because you're not the kind of person to sit and watch 30-minute modules in one sitting. Most of the modules are 10 minutes or under, and you can listen to them in your ear or read and highlight or sit and watch if that's how you learn best. The other piece too that you forgot about is that there are tools along the way every single time. So every module has action steps that you literally select and check off the box after you listen to it. And I feel like so many programs, you watch a module and then you say,
what's next?
Now what?
Yeah.
And so when I do them, I'm like, did I walk away with this?
Do you know how much this, and I mean this, I'm being completely transparent, pull the curtain back. I could almost cry that you're saying that. No, because I obsessed over every detail that no one would ever know.
Yes.
Like, I took all of Tony's knowledge
obvious.
and I obsessed for 8 months. I'm like, no, they'll get stuck there. No, they'll not know what to do here. No, you know what? Right here is a little bit longer section. It's 18 minutes. Give them a bribe so they finish that on time. Okay, make it so they go over to the tool and implement that.
Yeah.
And I thought through every little piece. And you're right, I'm 2 years away from the original design, a year away from this new design. Yeah. And sometimes you forget all that work that goes in. And then the other thing, and go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if you forget how good you are at things, think about people watching right now who are so close to their own genius that it's impossible. Like, maybe you need to go ask someone who loves you deeply.
Oh my God, I was just going to say that.
What you are good at. Like, have somebody speak life over you. I was voice texting you last night and just like trying to just speak life as your hype girl, like, Dean, this is what you're so good at. And how often do we need this in our life?
All the time.
So maybe one, you should go out and speak life into 3 people you love's lives just to spread that joy. But 2, maybe you need to ask somebody who knows you inside and out, what am I good at? What are my gifts? What do you consider me so solid in? What would you love to learn from me? Ask those questions, because sometimes you even need that.
We all do. And wow, thank you so much for that. And the other piece of that too that I didn't expect to be so big and so empowering is the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
There's 22,000 people in the Facebook group that are supporting each other in a way that I've never seen. You go in, you're having a rough day, like my husband's not supporting me on this. So you go in and ask, and there's 50 people replying saying, don't worry about this, what you do, your husband will come on board, or I'm stuck figuring out my superpower. Okay, tell me these 3 things, like, and they become part of this, we call it a culture of progress.
Yeah.
And everybody's in there. So when you feel alone or you feel not plugged into something, not only do you have our support, you have the support of this tribe that are waiting for you. I mean, when we went live that night, we had thousands of people join the Facebook group that night, and I'm watching them welcome. I'm like, welcome, welcome. You're part of the greatest family in the world.
Yeah.
We're changing the world. So yeah, those combination of things will make this the course you finish and implement unlike anything you've ever seen.
Well, that's the power of a mastermind, is when you get around people who are wanting more and desiring more and going for more, whether you are the one implementing it or you are a part of it, it's that collective energy. I think there's nothing better than being in a room or being in a group or being online with people who are chasing after something more. How is it not contagious? It's impossible to not be inspired.
I know. Great answer. Let's take one more because I know we got some great ones.
Okay, let's see. Okay, the last question that we want to cover is a great one because I get asked this all the time. And it's like, what would you do if you were starting over again today?
Yeah.
So do you want to go?
I'll go. I'll tell you what I would do. Looking in today's world, I know, and again, I'll just be transparent. My son had eczema when he was born, really bad. And it's great because we had an example on the live cast, but it's so personal to me because he had it all over. He used to get it on his cheeks, and they wanted to put him on steroids. The same thing she said.
Yeah,
and it wasn't working. Jamie.
Yep.
And it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And I just found that nutrient-dense food cured it. And I made these handcrafted pancakes. I put every superfood possible. It took me like 6 months to make them taste good. They call them the green pancakes. But they were so dense that I had him eat them 2 or 3 times a day, and they had so much nutrients in it, it literally cured his eczema. So like, I could talk about how I naturally cured eczema. I went through a divorce and it was terrible, but now my ex is thriving, I'm remarried, I'm having a baby, my kids are thriving like never before. Like, I have that experience. I've written books, I've spoke on stage, I've done real estate. It's what allowed me to be successful in my 20s. When you understand the power of knowledge, when you understand knowledge is the new currency, what I would do is if you took it all away from me today, I would go back and I would start a Facebook group simply based on one of those topics that I was the most passionate about. Yep. I would start sharing valuable information, and I would use free marketing strategies to get a few people signed up. Then I'd coach them. Then I'd take a higher level process and maybe do a one-on-one or 4-to-1 or 6-to-1, and I would just go back and keep building that. And that's the cool part, is we have, like I said up on the screen, we have this online world, this social media. We have Facebook and YouTube and Instagram tracking everybody. They know who's going through a divorce. They know who's having a baby. My phone is blowing up. I never typed in anything about a baby. My string is all like baby strollers and stuff. Yeah. Right? So we can find the people that need what we want, and that's how I do it. What about you?
Well, I just had this really like profound thought, if I do say so myself, of when I'm thinking about this, I'm immediately thinking about these huge ideas. Like my ideas get so big that it's almost crippling. And I think this happens to a lot of women. And I was recently asked, somebody actually messaged me after the live cast and she was like, are you charging people to teach them about miscarriage? And I was like, no, miscarriage is like my mission to like help people through it. But if I didn't teach marketing, I would not have the means to get this other message out without asking anyone to pay anything.
Right.
And what I think is beautiful, especially for women, is that we need to step into our power to build independent wealth so that we are freed up to actually do the things that are on our heart, those bigger things. Like, I don't make money to talk about miscarriage or body image. Those are my passion projects. But if I didn't have a system and a blueprint that was being executed, that was making me money while I slept, I would never have the bandwidth, the capacity, the time, the ability to do those bigger passions. And so what if we as women stepped up and we said, okay, I have this one gift. It might not be like my wildest passion project, but if I could charge 5 people $20 and make $100 every month, what would that look like? And how would that free me up to do those bigger things or serve the world in a higher capacity, monetized or not? And so I think a lot of times we need to just think about, like, I teach Instagram. Am I passionate about the platform? No, but am I passionate about getting your message out into the world? Yes. So how do we tie our mission with this system that helps us be freed up either time or financially in order to serve the world in a bigger capacity? So that maybe didn't answer the question, but it was something that came to me where I'm like, people are thinking this right now. So
profound for sure. And I see we have a whole bunch of questions on the course itself. How to get access. Is there a multi-pay? When do the payments start? Every 30 days? Is there a warranty? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take just a few minutes here and go through the offer so you have crystal clear clarity and know that this offer is truly going away. In less than a week from right now, this won't be available, not all the bonuses. So I want to go through it right now to make sure you don't miss out, to make sure I'm really clear on what each section is and how this could put you in the knowledge industry with confidence in a way you never thought possible. This truly has become a movement. We're already in over 150 countries, 4,300 different niches identified, people graduating at an unprecedented rate and having the confidence to go out there and make this real, not just some dream. So let's go through this. In section 1, we're just calling it Set It. And what does that mean? Tony Robbins and myself will set a foundation of an unstoppable mindset. Listen, if you're under 30 years old, you might be thinking, I don't need mindset, just give me the tools. I beg to differ. If you've ever had an experience where you started something and didn't finish, or you were trying to learn and you went back to old habits, where you got scared and you let a limiting belief stop you, or you let your friends talk you out of it, that's why we created this first section of Set It, to give you an unstoppable mindset. So there's nothing to get in your way. And that's one of the key components to long-term wealth, abundance, success in your life. Read any book. Without the right mindset, it doesn't work. Why do you think people who hit lotto go broke? They had the money, the resources, but not the mindset. And once your mindset is on fire, it's time to extract it. That means to take you through a methodical process to identify your superpower, to give you the confidence to say, I can do this, to identify your niche and show you how to turn it like in a mirror and identify your ideal client. And then how to give you the confidence using the story teach tool model, whether you're going to teach on a Zoom call online, a Skype call, or you're going to have people in front of you in your living room while you're sipping coffee. This is the section that will give you the confidence to know you can do this. And once you have that confidence, the next part is how do you fill it? And this is where my expertise comes in, to show you how to market through authenticity, how to market without fear. In fact, how to love marketing and selling, because you know if you get someone to say yes, just like you today, if you get to say yes, I get to change your life like I was blessed to help Jenna and so many other people around the world. When you feel that way about what you provide, when you know you're delivering impact, when you know you're doing something meaningful, it doesn't feel like selling anymore. It doesn't feel like marketing. It feels like you're delivering a message to change lives. And that's what you'll get on the high end. But then we're going to narrow it all the way down with my experts in my office. Listen, you've probably seen my ads on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, or seeing my post or see my Instagram page go to the top and be over 1 million followers. How does that happen? Because I have the greatest team on the planet. So I had each of my team members film a mini course. And those mini courses are how to maximize YouTube, how to master Instagram, how to use Facebook free and paid ads, how do you write emails that work, how do you get other people to support you, how do you get friends and family involved. We built a little mini course, even affiliate training, to show the beginner to launch and the expert how to scale to the next level. But we took it to a whole nother level because we wanted to create this wagon wheel approach. What are all the different ways that you can bring people to your opportunity? And we realized podcasts are huge. So John Lee Dumas created a mini course on how to start or scale a podcast. That alone is priceless. We have Stu McLaren. He gets paid $35,000 a day to consult on how to build a community. He's a great dude. I love the guy. I know him personally, one of the best on the planet. He created a mini course for you to show you how to build a community, just bringing like-minded people together. Pete Vargas is going to show you how to do an online presentation that will rock the house even if you're scared to death and call yourself an introvert. And he truly gets $40,000 a day to consult. He's a dear friend and he built an incredible mini course for you. Rachel Miller. She's going to show you how to get your first 100 raving fans. Last year we realized we had a lot of people starting. They had no followers. This is what Rachel does as an expert. We got her to do a mini course for you. When you're done with this section, you'll not only love marketing, you'll understand it deeper than most any human being alive. You'll know how to gain traffic, whether free or paid, and you'll know how to get the right ideal people to see your opportunity. You will start using social media instead of it using you. And in the fourth section, you're going to learn how to run your event with confidence, whether that's online, whether that's in person, whether that's 2 people or 200. My team and I broke down every step for the beginner to get going and the expert to scale with confidence. Imagine having 60 years experience condensed into one section. You'll run these events like you've been doing it for years. And when it came to pricing, we were all over the place. Could this thing be worth $50,000, $100,000 with all this value? I think yes. I mean, Tony has his platinum partners that pay $100,000 a year, and he's got a waiting list. I've been offered and got paid up to $200,000 for 90 minutes on stage. Tony has a waiting list of people that want to pay him $1 million a year to consult. So when we were putting a price on this, we dumped our heart and soul into this. If we offered it for $5,000, would it be a great deal? We think yes. Now, here's the cool part. That's not what we're charging, but is it worth it? I believe absolutely yes, but we didn't stop there. If you remember, I said there's 3 things needed for success: mindset, tactics and strategies from people who've already done it. You got that. But the last part is implementation. Let's be honest. How many times have you gotten a course, read a book, went to an event, you were excited, but nothing ever came of it? We weren't going to let that happen. So Tony and I spent over 2 years and over $1 million and built your implementation tool. It is the easiest to use software. So you get excited, learn how to do it, and go put it in play. Learn how to build your agenda, go build your agenda with your finger. You could swipe in some of the tools we use, swipe out. Use your story teach tool mechanism, and we will extract your superpower, your skill, or the skill you report on, and it'll help you build a half-day agenda for online or a full day in person. The second part that'll really blow your mind, and this is the part I see so many people getting stuck, is giving you the ability to do point-and-click marketing, website building, and example pages. And what does that mean? We built this software with multiple templates that you can go in and say, I want to do cooking secrets. I want to teach people to fly fish. I want to teach people to market better, do hair, and a million other things, all these crazy niches. And you have templates where you could go in. So if you get excited, you learn how to build your page, then you go over to the implementation tool and you make your page. You learn how to do a video or a headline or what copy to write. Then you go over to the implementation tool and you make it real. That's why we have so many graduates. That's why this has become a movement, because we have all 3 components to make sure you finish this. This becomes real for you, not just some dream. And the last part of the software is helping you run it like a personal assistant that's checks and balances and the framework to make your half-a-day Zoom call or your in-person event magical like you've been doing it for years. In fact, Joshua Lee said, Mindmint is mind-blowing. Literally, a trained monkey could start a banana peeling mastermind with this course and tool. Thank you, Joshua. Here's the thing. That software is $97 a month or $1,164 for the entire year. Because you're here and before this offer closes, we're giving you an entire year for free. When this offer closes, that offer will not be available, and the Mindmint software is priceless. Don't even think of it as software. It is your implementation tool. But then the next piece I thought was really important. Tony and I talked about it. Sometimes when you have the immersion, if you don't stay in contact, right? It's like you learn a language, you immerse yourself, but if you stop speaking it, what happens? The language goes away. So for 12 months, right here, I will mentor you live on deep dive trainings in mindset, marketing, and momentum. This training, the Inner Circle, has been part of my family now for, I think, over 5 years. We train right here. I train for about an hour, do Q&A, light people up. This keeps you in the game, keeps you speaking the language, overcoming the obstacles, and make this real in your life. That sells for $1,164 for the year. Again, that's free. That's included. The value's at $7,328. That's real value. But of course, you're not going to pay that because this is part of our launch. And launches close and these opportunities won't be there. The next part, we added this because of you, because of Jenna Kutcher. We are going to walk you through each week for 6 weeks. They just hold your hand and guide you through the course so you feel a part of something bigger than yourself, so you don't give up on you, so you schedule that 15 minutes or 20 minutes a day and make this real. And even if you can't go at our pace, at the 7th week, we're going to hold a celebration party and do a deep dive training to help launch you to the next level. So if you're somebody already in this business, you need to be a part of this. If you're a brand new beginner, you need to be a part of this because we're going to help make this the course you finish and then execute. Now, we didn't put a price on that because it is priceless and we've never sold it, but we're still at $7,300 in value. You'll also be a part of the greatest community that exists online. You talk about being plugged into something bigger than yourself. There's already 22,000 members, over 100,000 messages a month of people helping people. We call it our community of progress, culture of progress, the knowledge brokers, the KBB family. Wait till you become a part of that. You'll have instant access. See all these incredible posts coming in day after day. It took more effort than before because I was also pregnant and wasn't feeling the best, but the outcome was totally worth it. 15 women out of 20 said yes to my high-level 5-month virtual mastermind. This is the first 20 minutes of my first mastermind. I was nervous, but I overcame my obstacles. I did my first seminar yesterday, and it was absolutely amazing. 45 people. Oh my God, Nary, great job, man. Kayla, she said they almost quit. Like the week before, they got nervous, but they decided to do it, and they had 10 people show up for their mastermind. A couple people drove 80 kilometers. This is what's going on inside that group every day. You not only get to see people that are doing it, you get to ask the questions to get you unstuck. You feel a part of something bigger. They're inspiring you, plus everybody's helping each other. So this isn't just a dream. This becomes your reality. So today, you can get all pieces of the Knowledge Broker Blueprint to set the mindset, to extract what your superpower is, to know how to market and fill the events, and then how to run it with confidence. You'll get 12 months of the implementation tool for free. You get my Inner Circle, 12 months working together live. You'll get the 6-week walkthrough to make sure you finish with a 7-week celebration and training. You'll have instant access to the community. That adds up to $7,328. But for those who click the link below during the launch or go to kbbcourse.com, you can get all of this for one payment of $1,997 or 4 payments of $597. See why the world is going crazy over this. See why it's become a movement, and see how you can be a part of helping make self-education the new norm. See how you could be a part of doing something meaningful in your life, impacting others, while simultaneously having the chance for massive success in your life for you and your family. And here's the cool part. Some of you asked, it has a 30-day money-back guarantee. If this isn't something, if we didn't under-promise and over-deliver, call us. But I know how much you're going to love this course, but it's an unconditional money-back guarantee. And here's the cool part. When we were live the other night, Tony said, let's throw in at the last minute, let's throw in the ultimate edge. This is the course that transformed my life. This is that foundational course that if you feel you have limiting beliefs, if you've been stuck before, if you're afraid to start, if you're afraid to make money, if you're afraid of what other people think, this is the greatest personal development course that's ever been created. It's impacted millions of lives. It sells for $229. We are including it now during this launch. So here's the deal. You get the Knowledge Broker Course Blueprint and all of its sections to set it, extract it, fill it, run it. You got the 12 months access to the Mindmint Software, which is really your implementation tool for free. Get 12 months working with me. You get the 6-week walkthrough, the 7-week party, and you get the ultimate edge. And tonight, right here, right now, you can get it all for $1,997 or 4 payments of $597. Remember, you need the right mindset. You need the strategies and tactics from someone who's been there, and you need the implementation tool. We created all 3. See why this will be the last course you'll ever have to buy, and how you could do something meaningful in your life by following a blueprint. All you have to do to get enrolled today is click the link on this page or go to kbbcourse.com, get everything I shared, all the bonuses, and have access to this course in minutes from right now.
All I can think of is that a year from now, you're going to wish you would have started. And we have explained and answered so many questions. So you can choose to go it alone. But something tells me 365 days from now, you're going to be kicking yourself as you Google your way to confusion. And so for me, when I think about how limited time is not just money, time is life. And the way that we spend our days today are the way that we're going to spend our lives. And so for me, it's just one of those things. What if you could claim back your time to get the exact step-by-step blueprint so that you can have your heart and your brain come together with this blueprint to serve the world and make a greater impact? I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. But I realize it's a big decision, and it's one that you have to make pretty quickly.
Well, thank you so much for being here. You're amazing. You're like the whisperer. Like I come up with a concept and you break it down 3 more chunks. I hope you see through a different light by having this combo here. We always call ourselves the odd couple. We became dear friends. Our families love each other, and it's awesome. But I appreciate you sharing from your heart. I appreciate you guys being here. And the fact of the matter is this offer will go away. So get your questions answered. Watch this video again if you need to. And then get enrolled, get inside the Facebook group, start this course, and see how it can make a difference in your life. Click the link below or go to kbbcourse.com.
I'll see you on the inside.